This is your safe haven for strong opinions and escape from respectability. I'm your host, Goodie, a woman with a unique perspective, labeled as too odd, too strong, too much. My gospel is freedom of expression, and because there can be no freedom without truth, my approach is truth through transparency. Welcome to Goodie's Gospel. Let's get free.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let it go.
The good news. Check it out. Current events.
Okay, so what's the news, right? I want to start off talking about Elon. WTF, dude, like for real. Elon purchased Twitter for $44 billion. It wasn't worth that. I think it was pride that made him make the purchase because he was talking cash shit and his bluff was called. So he purchased the company. He paid more than it was worth because they've been losing money. They're not an app that's making money. He tried a couple of things. Those things didn't work. But as of this week, the thing he's trying is to not pay rent on Twitter office spaces and to not pay vendors for the things that Twitter has been using. He has also sold, I believe, enough stock in Tulsa for it to be $3.6 billion worth of stock. This has made the actual stock plummet by 61%. People who have shares in the company, the major shareholders, are frustrated. Tesla is essentially running without a CEO, and it all seems bad as far as it looks bad. The optics are really bad. The thing that sticks out to me the most is that as a billionaire and the richest man in the world, Elon is in this position where he is capable of not paying his rent and no one's really kicking him out. I think there's also like a fire sale going on down to the Twitter offices. They're selling anything in Twitter that will sell. They're selling seats, but that's cool because most of the workforce at Twitter has opted out of working for Elon. They're selling workout equipment. It's all bad. And I'm just wondering what his end game is. In a world where I work in tech and we are facing, if not already in a recession, I'm concerned. In tech, usually what one major tech company does, even though Twitter is not a FANG company, other companies follow suit. Hopefully, we all understand that Elon's a madman and no one decides that the way he's going is the new industry standard. It can't be because it feels like he's tanking. Now, none of these moves seem smart, and I don't know. We'll keep our eye on it. The funny thing is that in my real life, I am not good at Twitter. Twitter's never really been my app of choice, and I have recently begun using Twitter because I've begun engaging with people on shows that I like, and it's been cool for me since that. So I would hate for this new addiction of mine to go bye-bye, but if it does go bye-bye, okay, later, there are other apps, I suppose. Staying on Elon, over the weekend, Dave Chappelle had him come up on stage, and he entered the stage saying, "I'm rich, bitch," using or leaning into the Rick James, Dave Chappelle skit, and people essentially booed him off the stage. No one wanted to see him. Get the F out of here was kind of the response, and I agree. Chappelle joked a bit about the fact that he was being booed, and then he reprimanded the audience, saying that booing Elon was in poor taste. But from my perspective, what is in poor taste is Chappelle even bringing him up to the stage in the first place. I do believe Chappelle to be an independent thinker. I do believe Chappelle to be a smart man. However, I also believe that his position as the kind of man who will take the risk, who will toe the line, made him think this was cool. However, we are in a week where, Elon has been doubling down on a lot of his ignorance, and some of that ignorance surrounds the COVID virus. Some of that ignorance surrounds a little bit of anti-Semitism. Like, Elon has been left. He's been going left, and I don't mean like left politically. I mean just poor, dark, not really that funny, transphobic jokes. It's all bad over there. So I'm kind of curious as to what Dave Chappelle is thinking or doing. I think is leaning in on the idea that he does the things that people are scared to do. I do appreciate Dave's comedy, but I'm not on board. That, him bringing Elon up, I'm not well aligned with that. I don't know. So I guess, what are you doing, Chappelle? Still sticking with Elon. Twitter, under Elon's reign, is supposed to be the freest place online. And yet, Kanye really went off about a week and a half ago. Anti-Semitism, Rosa Parks was a plant, sharing Elon's personal text messages to him. Kanye got suspended from the place where you're not supposed to be able to get suspended. And, the world's looking like, but Elon, I thought you said, in his text, Elon told Kanye, you're going too far. But in the world that Elon wants to see, there is no such thing. Trump has his Twitter privileges back, by the way. And still sticking with Elon, there's a student who has been tracking Elon's jet setting, like how Elon uses his jet, the jet miles, the jet hours. And Elon did not like that, and he suspended that account as well. So the question becomes, is this the freest space online or nah, Elon? Is it the freest space online or nah? Also, in really weird news, sometime last Friday, R. Kelly seemingly dropped an album called I Admit. Anyone who remembers around the time where he was still being the Pied Piper of R&B and running around, I think he was in Africa, he was singing these songs, I Admit, because much of his career and the music that we all fell in love with to a certain extent, because I stopped listening to R. Kelly of my own free will. Like, I don't press play if it's R. Kelly. I stopped listening to him when it was determined he was married to Aaliyah and she was way younger. That was the 90s for me. However, can't get away from him because people love him and people argue that they can separate the music from the man. I don't even dispute it anymore. It's just not my cup of tea. In any event, if we all recall the songs he wrote that the world fell in love with, upon retrospection, he was thumbing his nose in everyone's face. He was hiding in the open. He was telling us what he was doing. He was telling us what he was about, even down to be calling himself the Pied Piper of R&B. Cool, fine, dandy. So an album drops called I Admit, and people start pressing play, and they love it, and are that boy bad. It was not long before it was ripped off of all of the DSPs, and I celebrate that. And he says that it was leaked. He definitely didn't put it out. He said someone leaked it because they're trying to make sure that he doesn't get an appeal. Whatever, R. Kelly. Whatever, Robert. Speaking of admitting, something else that I'm going to admit. Years ago, I can't even tell you how many, but I can definitely say for the past 4 years, everyone's been talking about crypto. One of my business partners has been talking about crypto for maybe even before that. And because it's this thing that requires for me, because I don't really put my money into anything that I can't understand. And I haven't had the time to try to understand crypto. And as a result, I kept missing the boat. As of today, a cryptocurrency, FTX, the founder of this currency, Sam Bankman-Fried, is currently imprisoned in the Bahamas, I believe. Is he in the Bahamas? Yes, he's on a West Indian island, and he's fighting extradition actually. But basically, his crypto crashed. It crashed really bad, and he has been on a tour of sorts, talking about what happened, why it happened. His lawyers have told him he shouldn't, but he's been talking anyway. So I don't understand crypto, and shame on me, right? But what I understand from what's going on with FTX is in 2019, Sam Bankman-Fried started FTX. He's been using the investors' money to float a company that he has, Alameda. Is that it? Alameda. I don't know. I'm not saying it right. He's been using the investors' money to float Alameda. He's been lying to the Alameda shareholders about the amount of money that the company was making. And he's had celebrities backing him. Some of these celebrities are in trouble. Like, I even think they have Stephen Curry involved in the trouble, and Steph hardly ever gets in trouble. So that's weird. He's been making risky bets, lavish spending, and basically has 8 counts against him. There's conspiracy and fraud. It's a 14-page indictment. They're essentially saying FTC had a $32 million valuation. I'm getting this from CNN, by raising more than $1.8 billion since launching in May of 2019. They had sophisticated investors such as BlackRock, Sequoia Capital, and the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Star athletes backed it. Like I said, Steph Curry. He duped his investors and then made them think that it was a safe crypto firm. And he's been spending people's money. He has been affecting politics because he's been making donations to candidates and fundraising for committees. Your boy's a wild boy. He's been out there. Again, he's in the Bahamas trying to not get sent back to New York to face his accountability. He's saying he didn't know he committed fraud. He didn't want any of this to happen. He thought he was more competent than he actually is. The Wolf of Wall Street is saying he needs to shut up, or else he's going to be in jail for quite some time. They really are trying to throw 115 years at you, man. So, yikes. The Tory Lanz trial began this week. This trial is the one where we're going to finally figure out who shot Megan. Yeah, like who shot Roger Rabbit, who shot Megan Thee Stallion. And it's been a wild ride thus far. When this shooting originally happened in 2020, it was first rumored that Megan didn't get shot at all. All of Tory's supporters ran with that. And the reason why they initially ran with that was that when she first was questioned about it, she said her foot was bleeding, or her feet were bleeding because she stepped on glass. That was not true. They had to remove shards of, like, bullet fragments from her feet. So she said she wasn't shot. Everyone ran with that. The internet has been saying Megan's a liar. She's trying to ruin a black man's career. Yada, 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 yada. This week, as we try to figure out what the heck happened, we're just ending up more confused. First day of trial, Tory's defense admitted, yes, Megan got shot, but I didn't shoot her. This is Tory. Tory saying he didn't shoot her. It was possibly Megan, and the reason she shot her was because they were having a scuffle because they were fighting over him. Now, Megan did admit, finally, after not admitting it, that she did have a sexual relationship with Tory. And Kelsey had a sexual relationship with Tory as well. So basically, there was a love triangle in the truck, and that ended up in an argument. And Megan ended up shot. When asked why she lied about it, she said, I felt stupid because I slept with someone who actually shot me and said, dance, bitch. Like, she was embarrassed by the fact that she'd ever engaged in any kind of sexual relations with Tory at all. But she says they had both lost loved ones, and as a result of that, they trauma bond. She didn't use that verbiage, but that's essentially what she was saying. Then we get to, the whole time, they're like, on day 3, Kelsey is finally going to speak. Kelsey Harris, ex-assistant, ex-friend of Megan, they fell out. She's going to be a key witness, and she's going to speak, and she's going to say she saw Tory shoot Megan. The antithesis of that happened. Kelsey's on the stand. She don't remember anything. One word answer. She pled the 5th. She has immunity. She thought it would be blanket immunity. It's not. I believe she is making it so that there is a doubt with regard to who actually shot Megan. The goal, I believe, is to get Tory off. This is really sad. I don't think we're going to walk away from this with answers. My opinion is that Tory shot her. I don't know if people remember, but Tory's a little bit messy. Tory's not the kind of man that you give vagina to because he needs to run and tell that. Somehow there's a Kardashian, Kylie, involved in the mess. It's all bad. Kelsey is on the stand now, lying, and more lying. In September, she was deposed, and she basically said, I saw him shoot her. He beat me up. Yesterday and today, she doesn't remember anything. She's postpartum. She's under stress. It's all disgusting. I'm so disgusted. None of this news is good to me. Yuck. It has wax sauce all over it. Yuck.
It is absolutely vital that the truth comes out.
Trying to keep it true. The truth is.
The truth is, I want to know if y'all are right. I'm speaking to you, black men. Are you okay? Why do I ask? Yesterday, it was discovered that Steven Twitch Boss took himself out the game. I'm not going to say the word, but by now you know what it is with Steven Twitch Boss. He's no longer with us. On Tuesday, his wife went to the police precinct saying, "Hey, my husband left home without his car. That's unlike him. I'm concerned." Simultaneously, in a different part of town, hotel staff at a hotel room that Twitch checked himself into found his body. The coroner would later determine that his fatal wounds were self-inflicted. Now, upon hearing the news, the public could not believe it. 2 days prior, Twitch would be seen online dancing, smiling, and having a good time. He would be seen talking about how happy he was on his anniversary 3 days before. And everyone is trying to understand how someone who was so happy and in such a good space could do something to themselves that was so fatal. I didn't have the same response because by virtue of who I've always been, a woman with a lot of male friends, I have always had a close-up seat to black male bravado. It's a bravado that does not allow for weakness, vulnerability, or the admittance of pain. Instead of admitting that any of these things are at play, you will have someone telling you that they're good. Nah, I'm good. Or someone drinking too much, or someone drugging too much, or someone joking too much. And it's very rare that you get someone who comes out, a black man specifically, who comes out and says, "I'm in pain, I'm hurting, help, I need help." Almost never happens. I have in the past sat and spoke, sat in silence with my brothers and probed. I've been cursed out by my brothers. "I'm fine, leave me alone, Goodie. Ain't nothing wrong with me, Goodie." But I probe still. I'm not the kind of friend that you can shake off easily. And eventually, sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes months. But eventually, the truth comes out. I'm not good at all. I'm confused about this. I'm confused about that. I'm sad. I once had a person close to me visit, and something told me, he's coming to say goodbye. Don't let him. I didn't let him say goodbye. Instead, I probed, as I often do. And what I found out was he had a fully laid out plan for taking himself out the game. And this plan included the easiest, cleanest way to harm himself. And it included how to not be found by someone who cared. And it was a very detailed plan on how to no longer be with us. And when I said, "How could you have this big plan? Don't you believe in God?" Not that God frowns upon those who can't seem to make it through. More that, from my perspective, the love of God is such that you can take all of your burdens to him and lay them out and ask for guidance. And for some, the guidance is good enough. And for others, the guidance is to go seek help. When I asked my friend, what of God? What of your relationship with God? What he told me was, I don't want to take my problems to God. God is busy doing other things. And that right there is what it is for me with the black men. And I'm specifically speaking to the black man because that's the man that I'm around. That's the man that I love. That's the man I'm invested in. I can't speak for other people. So he felt like he had to tough it out even in the face of God. And that right there is the problem that many of our brothers are up against. Now, I know this ain't a pick me kind of vibe, because I'm so vociferous. I'm so strongly and heavily opinionated that it could never be a pick me vibe. Or maybe it was in the past, but that's neither here nor there. So this isn't about saying something that favors. This is about knowing that a holy trinity includes man, woman, and child. And the holy trinity of the black community must include the black woman and the black man. And the black woman has found her way to her tribe, for the most part. The black men, often, y'all not even talking to each other. I want to get like you, kid. These aren't even conversations y'all are having. Like, I've sat through them. Like, why don't y'all have real conversation? Y'all talking about chicks or cars or clothes or getting money, but no one is checking on the other one. Black men, I need y'all to hold each other accountable. Hell, I need y'all to hold each other. Hug your brother. It's not gay. It's love. Have the conversations. It's not gay. It's relationship. You can't do it alone. No man is an island. You're not going to be able to do it alone. And more often than not, there are people who love you and are willing to stand in the gap with you and for you. But you have to see them, you have to acknowledge them, and you have to confide in them. I'm concerned, black men. I'm here. If you know me, if you could hear this, and you just need someone to talk to, I can stand in the gap. Don't make it weird, because I ain't that person. But I need to know that y'all gonna be all right. I need to know that y'all are gonna invest in your mental and emotional health and growth and maturity. And until I know that for sure, I'm always going to be the one probing and getting in your business and getting in your face. Because the truth is, while I'm capable of doing life without the black man, I don't want to. Get help. Seek help. If you want to hurt yourself, 988. If you need someone to talk to, there are places. I'll put links where I can. Wherever you're going to see this or listen to it, I will add links. But please, get help.
WWGD.
I can't explain.
What would Goodie do?
Hey y'all, it's the What Would Goodie Do segment, and I want to read something for you. Tell me if you've heard it before. A mother has 4 kids, different fathers. Only one is active. His son wants a PS5 for Christmas, so he sends the money to the mother. The mother divides the money evenly between the kids instead of getting the game. Is she wrong? Now, I know you may think I'm going to answer this question and say if she's wrong and suggest what he should have done instead, but I'm here on some different shit. Let me tell you what Goodie would do and what Goodie will do. I'm going to skip over all of this shit. Every single holiday season, every tick, every talk of the day, online, for whatever reason, people of color, black folks in particular, that's the color I'm talking about, find some divisive BS hypothetical situation and they want to know who was right, who was wrong, how should she have spent the money. Somehow it's always surrounding spending money either on a date or on a child. It's always like some financial issue. This is what Goodie would do. Skip that bullshit. Who sits in the front seat, the mother or the girlfriend? Skip all that bullshit. Do what works for you in any situation that you are in. As a mother, I have a 26-year-old son who I co-parented with his father effectively. He's 26. This would never come up between us. This is some dumbass shit. It's not a real world situation for me. And if it's a real world situation for you, you're asking what should be done far later than you should be asking. Stop asking hypothetical dumbass questions to cause a divide. We don't need that. What we need is each other. So what Goodie would do, what Goodie will do, is skip over that bullshit. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Get into the bag.
The Goodie Bag.
As the future of the Goodie Bag grows, this will be where I place all of the black businesses that I truly love and adore and support. However, today we are going to talk about my black business. I am part owner of an event space in Brooklyn called ES Williamsburg. And we will be having a brunch on Saturday, the 14th of January. That's my birthday weekend. I will want to celebrate. If you want to celebrate with me, I want to celebrate with you. There will be a flyer and a link, and I want to spend that time with you. That's one thing in the Goodie Bag. Another Goodie-related thing in the Goodie Bag is my rollout of all of the platforms that I've been structuring while I was gone. That would be the Until Next Time podcast, where I host with Tanika B. Love. That would be the Termagant Talk podcast that I host with Chantel. That would be this podcast, which I'm always going to be on. And that would be my spirituality business. It's called Until I Ascend, with a YouTube channel called Ascension Intentions with Goodie, or Goodie Gabor's Ascension Intentions. And then another page I have on YouTube, which is Gabbing with Goodie, where you will find the YouTube audio of this. In the future, it will be video, as well as recaps that I will be doing on shows that I adore, as well as me just talking all over the place. The Goodie Bag is all about Goodie because it's all good. I love it for me, and I love it for y'all who will love it with me, for me. See y'all there. Get in the bag, y'all. Get in the bag. Thank you for joining me for Goodie's Gospel. Please stay connected to me on and off the show. I can be found on IG at Goodie's Gospel Pod, on Facebook and Twitter at Goodie's Gospel. You can shoot me an email to goodie@goodiesgospel.com. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the show. Thanks for listening. Chat with you soon. Bye.